Good evening everybody, and welcome to the Elite Encounters update for 1st of February 2016. I hope you've all had a good week. Managed to get the agenda out really early this week, so I'm quite impressed with myself there, so hope you appreciate that. I don't really care if you don't, but it's there for you guys anyway. Right, I'll move straight on. We've got a fair bit to cover, so we'll go straight on to it. Obviously if you've seen the agenda before, then there you go. If not, then this will all be lovely new stuff for you to think about. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about it as usual. Just move on to the first thing. Okay, first of all, do progress, how things have gone this week. A lot more work has been done with Colin on the combat simulator. Colin himself has done some play testing, and we've been trying to balance the movement, balance the weapons, and balance the loadouts for all the different things. So that's all going along quite well. His playtests have proved a few things have worked and a few things haven't. Sorry. So we're getting on that and adjusting as need to be. One of the main things we've been looking at is the weapon parameters. We have quite a lot of different things to change about that, because the way we had it done before was the power management was handling quite a lot of the stuff, and there may be a slight misunderstanding by me on that, which I think I'm going to go into later on. If not, then I'll go into it next week, about how to balance the weapon parameters and how to power them and how the different sizes of weapons and different mounts work and all that kind of stuff. So we're all getting it balanced out so it will run properly with the miniature rules that Colin's doing and with the RPG rules as well. We've had some stat adjustments for the upgrades, so different upgrades that we've been doing, or different upgrades that are available, sorry, are all quite standard. I'm just going to make sure that everything's okay, that the sound balances are okay here. It looks like everything should be fine, so that's good. One thing I will say is I don't think I've got the windows up that need to be up, so there we go, right. Okay. Yeah, so we're moving along with the modifications coming along there, and that's about it. We've been fairly busy, and we've been having quite a lot of conversations through the last week or so, getting things sorted out, and it's moving along quite well. I'm quite happy with it. So, as I said last week, I was going to go into a few more things about what's going on with the sheets and so on. Tokens and boxes, essentially. Now, I've not prepared any graphics this week because everything's kind of moved around, and things are a bit fluid as far as the graphics at the moment, so I'm not going to show you any pretty graphics or so on. But essentially, as I showed you last week, the image of the tracking card, the vehicle card, hasn't really changed much. It's still the same as it was last week because we think that's going to work fairly well. We're not looking at changing that again, thankfully. Let me just check something on the screen. Yeah, a bit of a tidy up and making sure everything's running well. Hello Dr. Crunch, thank you for popping by. How does one track the assignment of power? Well, essentially, as I showed you last week, each card has... I kind of wish I'd put the graphic on now. Let me see if I can load the graphic up for you. It might actually be a little bit of a simpler thing than I think it'll be, so let me just load that in. So if we just grab an image, it should be in D drive. Okay, so yeah, as I say, it's not an official part of the actual presentation. So there's your vehicle card, as designed at the moment. Those little areas with a little sort of round splodge are the areas where the tokens can go. The whole box can be used to write stuff in if you want to write stuff in. So power management would be, power is assigned by the power plant that's fitted to the ship. Every ship has a default loadout, and this will give you 3 power points that you can move around. It works in pretty much the same way as Gamora, in much the same way as the power management in Elite works. So Elite Dangerous mechanic has been repeated, where you have A point you can put to shields, a point you can put to engines, and a point you can put to weapons. If you have one in each, then they're all balanced. If you move them around, then your stats will change in the game to reflect that. To provide an RPG oriented way to do it and a miniatures game way to do it, you can use tokens in those areas, and you can use just writing in the boxes. So they've been expanded a lot over how they looked before, so hopefully that should look good. So that also tells you how the stats are recorded for the miniature / combat rules. Essentially you can just swap them around there, and any damage, shield damage, hull damage, anything like that, you can track it on the card as well. That will be part of a bigger vehicle sheet as well, which was always the part of the design, but what we've done here is we've made it compatible with both methods of running the game. So hopefully that should work quite well. So let me just get rid of that and carry on with the presentation. Oh, I did have it on there. Oh, see, I actually did this quite a while ago. Put this together quite a while ago. It was actually kind of organised for a change. So yeah, there we go. It just means that I should have reviewed it before I started, but I've been busy trying to actually write up the movement stuff that we've been working on today, because some playtesting has revealed that movement needed to be tweaked slightly. So I've been doing some graphics for that, which is why I'm a bit unprepared. So the vehicle card will store the tokens and information from there. Blank areas for speed, maneuverability, shield and firepower all have large blank areas. You can do that. It's flexible, it's easy to use, and it's easy to write on, which is a lot better than it was before. So power allocation has been a bit of a block. We kind of went off in different directions from what we thought we were writing on this, and it took a bit of tweaking and a bit of thinking about it to try and get these balanced. So to make sure that essentially all the ships and all the loadouts had enough power to allow you to power enough to be an effective ship or an effective vehicle in the combat situation, but also give you a bit of a challenge, so that you, in some situations, if you've overloaded your ship with upgrades, then you won't be able to power everything that's on there, so you'll have to be careful how you assign the power. So things like that mean that you get a bit of a balancing act with the game, which hopefully should now work. We have got that sorted out now, and it looks like it's all working fine. It was one of the elements of playtesting that Colin has done that hasn't really showed up any issues at this point, but we do need to do quite a lot of wide range testing, and we're hoping we can get a few more people on board with the playtesting. And once I can get our living document to a point where it's readable by other people, because it's very, very jumpy at the moment and not very readable, so I'm trying to make it a bit more readable so that people have got a challenge with actually trying to play the game rather than anything else. Weapon upgrades. There were a lot of design variables. The flexibility that is there in the Elite Dangerous game. There's a lot of different things you can change for weapon loadouts. The mounting, the type of weapon it is, how powerful it is, how big it is, penetration, all the different stats that go with it. We've had to refine that down a very long way, which is something I did with the RPG anyway in the original version of the Combat Simulator rules. But we're now refining it so that we can actually make sure that everything has benefits and consequences. So that you're not looking at your power problems, or you're not looking at singly looking at your range and all that sort of stuff. So we had to resolve some of the variances and make it balanceable, and just balanceable really, sorry. We did get a bit confused with it initially because I misunderstood something that had been written, and Colin understood something that I'd said, misunderstood something that I'd said, so we both kind of went a slightly different direction with it. So but we've tied that together now, and that's all reworked. So the biggest issue we had was that the original way of doing it was we have looked at paired weapons being the standard unless you have a single hard point in a group, where you've got a group of maybe 3 or 5 or 1. We had certain rules for that, but we'd actually designed the weapons to be paired. Yeah, okay. Thanks for that, Arixac. Hopefully it won't be too bad. It's just Twitch that's doing it. I'll make sure I upload this video from my computer rather than Twitch's archive then. But thank you for that. If there's any issues, let me know. Anyway. Okay with you, Dr. Crunch. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. That's very kind of you chaps. So yes, it's all been reworked to be based on single weapons now, so we can actively upgrade and downgrade weapons via like based on a single weapon now. So it should all balance out a lot better. Otherwise, we were going to have fractions, which I wasn't happy with. So yeah, that's hopefully sorted now. So yeah, that's where we've gone this week. I have a few other things on the cards for next week's update, and everything else hopefully should be coming up soon. And we'll go into, I'm hoping that over the next few updates we can go into some of the changes that have gone in, and once we've got these miniature rules sorted out and the combat simulator rules sorted out, we can then go back into how to rework that into the RPG without causing too many problems. Now the way things at the moment, it looks like that's a good thing. There's not going to be too much to do to try and modify things over, which you people who are pissed off at me fettling with the rules will be glad to know. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to draw it to a close there. I'm not going to go into the upcoming events again, because obviously we go into that every week. So, you know, Elite Meet, LaveCon, you know they're coming. Dates for Fantasticon have been announced now as well. So Fantasticon will be November 26th and 27th, I believe, this year. So yeah, I'll put that onto the list of things. So start getting ready for that. Okay, and that's it. Next update will be next week, Monday 8th of February, 8 PM UK time. If you have any comments, questions or feedback, then please let me know by Monday at 6 PM by the latest, and I'll discuss it online. I didn't have any feedback this week. I did have one comment, sorry, from someone pointing out that the 100th update is 2 updates away. This is update 98, I think, on Kickstarter. So we'll see how that goes. Right, I'm going to call that a close there. I'm going to go and boot up Elite Dangerous for the Monday night stream. We are still exploring the galaxy, so if you want to join me for that, then please wait while I bounce the stream, and I'll see you shortly. Otherwise, you Elite Encounters fans, I'll see you next week. Take care.